Are ink mines good now? Hello guys, Vasco here. I'm gonna be talking about some of the updates that just came to Splatoon on September 13th. There were a whole bunch of changes. Okay, not that many changes, it was mostly glitch fixes. A couple weapons got buffed, a couple weapons got nerfed, like the Bloblobber, just the Bloblobber, and then the sub-weapon ink mine got a huge, long overdue buff. For those of you who don't know, the ink mine is perhaps the weakest of all of the sub-weapons. I made a video about it a while ago, but one of the main drawbacks of this was that you could only have 2 at a time, and that they did very little damage. Somebody stepping directly on it would take 35 damage, and somebody kind of in the blast radius would only take 20. Well, no more, cause they buffed it. I'm not deleting that video though. So the first thing they added is that once you place a third ink mine, before, if you did that, whatever the very first one you placed would basically just deactivate and go away. But now, when you place a third ink mine, the first one will actually explode. I think this is super amazing because you can actually use this to distract enemies, especially if you're running the Ink Brush Nouveau. That gives you quite a lot of mobility around the stage. Basically, a good strategy for this would be to put one ink mine on one side of the stage and then B-rush away to another part of the stage, place a second bomb, and then when you see enemies kind of approaching a certain direction, you can place a third bomb, trigger the first one, which will make them think, oh no, somebody just threw a bomb over there, that means there's probably an enemy in that direction, but no. There is no enemy, it's just your ink mine that exploded. I don't know, I think it might help for distracting enemies. This might be like super useful in clan blitz. Also, the fact that you can cause one of them to explode might make it good enough so that you'd be able to splat somebody with like 3 ink mines in a row. I don't know, it's not like super viable because most of the weapons that run it are pretty slow, but it is now a potential strategy to be able to splat people with your triple ink mines. The next cool thing though, and this might actually make the ink mine and all the weapons with the ink mine a whole lot better and more viable for actual play. And that is that the damage it does is now buffed. So whereas before a direct damage would only do 35 and a splash damage would do 20, now if somebody steps directly on it, they're gonna take 45 damage, and if they're in the splash hazard area, they're only gonna take 35 damage. Now that's a big difference to the 20 before, and I'm talking about the splash damage because honestly most people are not gonna step directly onto the ink mine and take all that full damage, but they will take the side damage and they will get basically a point sensor on them for a short period of time. Now the cool thing about the fact that it's 35 damage is that if you have 2 ink mines close to each other and somebody triggers both of them and takes side damage from both of them, you can now splat that person with only 1 hit of your weapon, and it doesn't matter which of the weapons that has ink mines is. And I think that's really good because considering the fact that a lot of the ink mines can be used to tell you when an enemy is approaching, now you actually have a very high chance of splatting that enemy when they're approaching you, because not only will you know where they are, but you only have to hit them once, and considering you'd probably have to make like a 180 turn in order to see them and hopefully kinda sorta aim well in order to hit them, I think that's a pretty good buff. And I think that makes the ink mine more usable, especially in defensive cases. Things like 1 tap shot, 1 brush shot, 1 Brella shot, or heck even bopping into the Brella shield might be enough to now splat an enemy, and I think that is really good. It actually makes the ink mines more viable when you're playing. Now, does this mean we're gonna see a whole lot of ink mines popping up? I don't think so. Considering the weapon combos it's going with, I think we might see a whole lot of more Ink Brush Nouveaux considering the speedy tactic, and maybe a whole lot of undercover Brellas. Again, for the very same reason. Not too sure if it's gonna increase usage of the Dynamo roller though, because honestly, the Dynamo is still a bit too slow to react to an ink mine. But apart from the Dynamo, I actually do think that we're gonna see more use of all the other weapons sporting an ink mine, just because they can now have enough time to actually react to an enemy coming at them. Anyways, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Do you like the buff to the ink mine? Do you think it's gonna make those weapons more usable? Are you gonna start using weapons with the ink mine now? It does do a lot more damage. I mean, it's still not gonna splat an enemy when you use it, but it does a pretty good job now. I mean, it actually makes it possible for you to 1, triple ink mine splat somebody, and 2, to double ink mine trap and then 1 shot splat somebody, which I think that's pretty cool. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe and all that other stuff. Thanks for watching. Wait, bye, see you next time. What? No, okay. Bleh.